For thousands of years, shamanic cultures have predicted the times that we are living in today. We are living in an incredible time of breakdown. Whenever we, as a collective, the human family, whenever we approach a leap in consciousness, there's a breakdown. And this is the alchemical process of transformation, where we are here to die to our past, to individuate, to become more whole, and to bring harmony back to this planet. If you are watching this, you are part of our healing. You are being called. You are likely a sensitive, empathic soul who grew up feeling like you didn't fit in, like something was wrong with you, that you were defective because you couldn't fit the mold. You heard voices or had spooks in the night and feel this deep calling to serve. Not in a way where you're extracted or pushed into a job that you don't like, but in a way where you get to bring forward your gifts, where you get to turn your pain into purpose and serve people at a soul level, at a heart level. And this is the balancing of the feminine principle. Welcome to Mystic Monday, my love. If you are new here, I'm so glad you're here. I'm Ashley. I am your mystic guide and spiritual teacher. And if you're returning, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here. If you're loving this message already, or if you come back to this show, please make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps me reach bigger audiences and help more people. And today I wanted to talk about the greater vision of harmonizing the masculine and the feminine. And this is just a sliver of a really deep topic. So I've had the honor of studying with Alberto Villoldo at the Four Winds Society and also taking different shamanic trainings and having different experiences with people who carry this wisdom of the times that we're in. And that is, we are in a period of incredible transformation, and the ancient text called the Emerald Tablets is responsible for the phrase as within, so without. So what's happening on the outside, what's happening in the macro is also happening in the micro. And I am here to be with you on your journey of death and rebirth. I'm a spiritual death doula. It's my North Node in Scorpio in the eighth house. I am here to help you walk through incredible transformation and portals to where you think you're dying, but you're actually awakening. When we say yes to the path of the healer, when we say yes to the calling in our hearts, we are brought into different initiations. And a huge part of my journey has been dying to conditionings. A big part of that has been waking up from Southern Baptist religious programming that isn't true to my soul. When I found yoga in 2013, I studied the Vedanta and the Upanishads and learned that the Atman, my soul, is equal to Brahman, God. And I started to grieve and die to the beliefs that I'm separate from God, that God's a man in the sky. So, what is required on our path of healing ourselves in this earth is a sacred death. And who holds that medicine? It's the feminine principle. So we live in a realm of duality where there's infinite and temporal. And the higher energies are connected to the masculine principle in the yogic tradition. And that is this neutral that drives forward creation, that takes the vision and makes it real in the physical world. So it's that linear experience of getting from A to B. It is creation that has taken shape in the physical world, which means it's been directed into matter. So that's the masculine principle. And the feminine is the internal realm where the masculine makes something real on the outside, the feminine dreams it into being on the inside. So they both have creative powers, just differently. And we have both of these energies within us. And the alchemical marriage happens on the inside of us. That sacred union happens on the inside. So the feminine is the keeper of cycles of death and rebirth. A woman who bleeds understands what I'm talking about here. Every month when you bleed, you go into a ceremony with the divine of your own understanding, and you are alchemizing emotions and past patterns, and you are being reborn. We get to be rebirthed every month. We get to shed our past. And what comes up for you right before you bleed are the dense emotions and thoughts and everything that your body is about to shed. So, what we've been missing on this planet is the medicine of the feminine. It's been systematically suppressed, where we have obsessed over external results, where we have obsessed over drive and getting from point A to point B. And the distorted masculine is drive without the heart. It's drive for power, it's drive for control. And the distorted masculine is places itself above others. And that's the patriarchal system. And it really has harmed men in a great way as well. So here we are at this time of incredible transformation where these light workers and these healers and these beings are coming forward to share their gifts and to step out and to be seen and to use the medicine that they have to bring change, to bring healing onto the planet. So the feminine energy is the internal world. It is the cycles of death and rebirth. And on the earth, Mother Matter, it is those seasons and those cycles. And what we have forgotten as a culture is how to die. We have forgotten how to die. My shamanic teacher would say about 1 in 10 people don't die properly, where they get to the end of the life and they hold on, they grasp, or they get lost between the worlds. And the shamans I've studied with from the high Andes Mountains of Peru say we need to die before we die. We need to undergo this alchemical transformation that feels like death, but it's actually helping us let go. So, this is the principle of letting go. This is the principle of the temporal, of withering as a way to come back to life. So, there is a stage in the alchemical process of calcination where you're in the fire, where you got triggered or you're feeling this immense emotional pain. And I sometimes want to analyze that and think about that and make up a story about that. But really, what needs to happen is a processing of that emotion through the body. So the process of alchemy involves sitting in the experience, not trying to get away. I was addicted to pot for 7 years and I tried to get away. I did everything I could to get away. I ran and I ran and I ran. And then I had to confront all my demons. I had to confront my biggest fears. I had to really sit in the presence of my pain and let it speak to me, give it a voice, let it move through me. Because if I don't do that, then that pain goes into the unconscious, it gets suppressed, it gets locked in the body, and it runs you. When you don't own something and express something, it has power over you. So, what I did, and it saved my life, was I said, okay, and I took a deep breath and I descended into the pain. But first, I would distract myself. I would go here, I would go there, and inside my being, there would be this pain calling me. When people don't process their pain, often they project it onto others. They cause harm as a way to neutralize what they're experiencing. And this is what we're moving away from. This is toxic. This is not how we're coded to be on this planet together as a human family. We're meant to take responsibility of our stuff, which involves actually feeling that it's safe to sit with that. And maybe you sit with yourself with a therapist. I'm not saying go hard, go fast, go alone. That's what I did. And I don't want you to do that per se. Go with support, go with help, journey with somebody. But my goodness, be with what's there. People spend so much time in distraction. I do too sometimes. And in my moon cycle every month, I'm reminded my mystical power as woman is to transform. And just like the seed of the willow tree lives, or just like the beautiful full willow tree, the information of that lives in the seed of the willow tree, right? It's coded to do that. You are coded to die to your past so that you can be claimed by life, so that you can live in this groundbreaking time on fire with purpose and really nourished as a being. Because we're seeing a split right now where people are having a great time and people are really suffering. And there is a split that happens. There is a polarizing that happens as we enter into a new level of consciousness. And so this message is really about the psychic power of the feminine, where you see the future, where you hear what's not being said. And I am here to help you hone these gifts because they brought me to the edge of life and death. When spiritual gifts, when the oracular gifts go untrained, they wreak havoc. You're hearing thoughts, you're feeling emotions, you can't leave the house, you have to isolate. And that's not what this time is about. This time is to bring the medicine people forward, to be seen, just like I'm doing right now. And this wasn't always comfortable for me. I didn't always feel comfortable or safe putting myself out there, but I know in my heart that my calling is to step out to share, to help, and to build a community. So this is the right page for you or the right channel for you if you want to hone these gifts so that you can use them. Because again, when they go untrained, they wreak havoc. You can't turn it off. And I am big on simple hacks to protect your energy so you can bring forward the medicine that you came here to share. And your medicine comes from all the pain you walked through. I love certifications. I have degrees. I went to school. I made 4.0 after I got sober in college, and I love all that. And I'm continuously reminded that the power of my medicine is in my story, is in when I didn't want to be here anymore, is in how I broke through. And a huge piece of that is I stopped running. I found the courage to descend, to actually sit still, close my eyes, and go into the pain. Because at the center of pain and joy, and at the center of joy is pain. And what hurts more than the emotion itself is the resistance to feel the emotion. So I trained myself to go in, go in, go in, and be the loving witness, to unblend from the emotional body. When you're possessed in emotions, you are interwoven with them. To be unpossessed is to be aware of your experience. So you bring the light of consciousness into the emotional body, into that dark place, not evil. Darkness doesn't mean evil. The womb is not evil. The night sky is not evil. Evil hides in the dark. And so we bring the light of our consciousness down into the dark. The dark is sacred, right? Even that is conditioning and is a lie. That the dark is bad, the dark is evil. No. When you close your eyes, when you go in, you get reborn again. Every night, you turn the lights off, you go into darkness to get recharged. So the darkness is sacred. It's where life is born. And so I trained myself to go in, go in, go in, go in, and sit in the center of the emotion and breathe. And maybe I cry or pound a pillow or go into the experience physically. Not think, 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 think. Feel, 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 feel. Remember, if you want spiritual enlightenment, the goal of all spiritual practice to see clearly, to be enlightened, to have proper perception, you do that by uniting these inner energies. This is the Hyros Gamos. You bring the light of love into the depth of emotion. And you listen and you hear and you love. What can I do to love you? Because I guarantee that that pain is coming from the inner child. It's not coming from your adult self. All healing is inner child healing. The way out is through. And this practice is what brought me here to help hundreds of people, probably thousands, because of my podcasts and different places that I've shared these teachings. So you are not meant to stay where you are. You're meant to alchemize, to move forward, to teach, to be seen. I know how much I've desired that, and I know that you probably do too. So listen up. This is your sign. When you go in and you do this and you sit in the presence of your emotions without trying to change anything, stop trying to raise your vibration. All right? Stop trying to heal. I say that as a very specific teaching that's not for everybody, that's not right for every moment. But if you're so used to healing, 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 get better, raise your vibration, the answer is to not. Do you know how many books have been written from pain? The alchemization of it, not staying in it. Art is created by the raw human experience. So remember, your message can come from that place. And the moment you stop trying to change yourself is the moment where you actually meet your essence and take your own medicine. I used to try to contort myself and be this and be that and teach this and pick one topic, and I'm still working through this. One of my greatest gifts is to press record and just channel. I don't always need a topic. It doesn't always need to feel linear for my teachings. So we're doing this together. So the message today is about this feminine energy of death and rebirth, of letting go, of not always being on. It's what we need. We need to lay our bodies on the earth and actually recover, remember, because you can't hear the voice of God if you're filled with voices. You can't hear the voice of your intuition if you never slow down. And you are an oracle, and messages are coming to you about how you can generate abundance, about how you can serve your community, about how you came here, your soul's covenant, to live in harmony with your mission, which is your essence, your medicine. So we are in this process of deepening in and expanding out, deepening in and expanding out. And I just want to remind you that you are the power, that we're waiting for you, that your voice is needed. And stick around because I have a lot of tools for you about sensitive souls owning their power and their purpose. The feminine principle is about deepening in, not always rising, 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 deepening in, putting your ear to the unknown, putting your ear to your womb if you have one, listening to the silence. So that's my fun assignment for you this week. Listen to the silence. Put down the podcast, put down the book, put down the distractions, and actually sit in the holy presence of your emotions. Listen, sit, and stay. And there's going to be so much magic that opens from that, whether it's a miraculous healing, an idea for a business that moves you forward on your path. But the whole goal is to meet yourself where you are. The goal is not to change yourself. The goal is not to fix, to heal, to move on. The goal is to meet. And this is the alchemical marriage, to bring the awareness into the presence of the emotions. Feel your heartbeat, feel the feelings inside your body, breathe, and then ask them where they're leading you. What's the medicine? What's the message? There's always a blessing down there. I love you. Thank you for being here with Mystic Monday, and I'm very excited to have a chat with you again next week. Stick around. I have a free energy healing or energy protection bundle. This is me guiding you through 2 guided meditations, exactly how I set myself up to protect my energy every single day, and a whole PDF command or a whole PDF training on verbal commands, how to command your space sovereign from evil, sovereign from negative energies, sovereign to protect your sensitive nature. So if you don't have that, what are you doing? Go get that, receive that. It's totally free. Use these practices because we need you. I'll see you next week.